Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your #1 source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Gusty winds in the forecast today. I'll show you when winds could get up to 30 to 35 miles per hour coming up.
Shooting and standoff. Today we'll get new information about a double shooting in Granville County. The questions we're trying to get answered about the suspect and the victims.
And difficult decisions. Today, leaders at Wake County schools will consider how to manage their budget situation, how uncertainty about state and federal funding can affect your child's education. We have that and so much more to get you started on your Wednesday morning. Thank you for joining us. I'm Michelle McConaughey in for Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Renee Chu. We will get much warmer later today, but right now we are off to a cold start. Meteorologist Amy Wilmoth in the WRAL Severe Weather Center to talk about the wind chills out there.
Bundle up, headed out this morning. It is cold. Also, plan to scrape the windshield if your car's outside. A little bit of frost on my windshield this morning. These are some new numbers just in. 21 is what it feels like in Southern Pines right now. Still feels like 23 in Raleigh. When you factor in the breeze, it feels like 22 right now in South Hill, Virginia. So it is definitely a cold start. The areas highlighted here, that's where we could see some ice on the roads in isolated cases. So it's not going to be anything widespread, but just be careful if you're in our northern communities that border Virginia. That's where we could see some isolated spots that are a little bit slick. Road temperatures are certainly cold enough for anything left on the roads that melted maybe yesterday to refreeze and cause some issues today. 54 for the high, but it is going to be windy today. Check this out. Winds this afternoon gusting anywhere from 30 to 35 miles per hour, Ken.
All right, Amy, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Let's start in Cary, shall we? Give you a live look at I-40 and Carytown Boulevard. Traffic flowing nicely in both directions, but picking up at a nice steady clip, but no problems to report this morning. And that's indicative of what we're seeing on all of our major routes coming in to the Raleigh-Wake County area. Nothing but zeros on our live map this morning. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Wake County school students, you're all going back to school today, but some schools north of the Triangle are closed or delayed over the potential for icy conditions. Mecklenburg County schools in Virginia will be closed today. Halifax County schools are on a 3-hour delay. Schools in Granville, Vance, Warren, and Northampton will operate on a 2-hour delay.
Today, we'll learn more about a shooting and an hours-long standoff in Granville County. It all ended when a man accused in a double shooting shot himself. WRAL's Ali Calabar live at the State Bureau of Investigation in Raleigh this morning. And Ali, we're looking to get updates on the conditions of the suspects and the victim.
We still have a lot of questions, Michelle, and the Granville County Sheriff tells us they're planning a press conference today to answer those questions. We're trying to find out more information about this standoff that brought FBI agents, SWAT teams, and several agencies to the county. Now, we want to show you this video from Sky 5. It shows the truck that the shooter barricaded himself in for hours yesterday afternoon. Granville County Sheriff Robert Fountain tells us deputies responded to a shooting near Franklinton around 2 p.m. 2 people were shot, and he says the shooter barricaded himself inside a truck nearby on Pine Ridge Road. This morning, we've been going through Broadcastify radio traffic, trying to find out more about this incident. Listen to this. Authorities talking about a call they received about the double shooting.
Her male son and girlfriend were in the shed. A male subject came up, shot both of them. I know where the assailant is at this time.
And again, they found the assailant, the shooter. They found him. The standoff ended after the shooter shot himself. At last check, the sheriff tells us that the shooter was in critical condition. And at the press conference at 1 p.m. today, we're asking these questions. What is the condition of the victims and the shooter? Who was involved in this incident? And what led up to this shooting? We're going to keep you updated. Reporting live in Raleigh, Ali Calabar, WRAL News.
And happening today, Wake County school leaders are facing difficult decisions about their next budget. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live at Wake County School headquarters in Cary. Kelsey, the school board is facing challenges over both state and federal funding, and that could lead to cuts.
Yes, Renee, today school leaders will be hashing out the details for next year's budget that could potentially impact your child's school. Discussions that are happening here inside the district headquarters in Cary are really causing these school leaders to face some difficult decisions. School leaders are facing more than a $60 million increase in expected costs for next school year. That's partly because they expect employee salaries and benefits to go up. On top of that, state and federal funds are still in question. School leaders are now planning to make cuts. They say these cuts won't impact any educational functions that serve students in the classroom. WRAL Education Insider Emily Walkenhorst explains what's being considered.
But it was more toward, cutting vacant nursing positions or social worker positions, repurposing digital literacy specialists who were largely at one school but who assisted the whole district.
If you want to find out the timeline for board members to make their final decision, just head to WRAL.com. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Cary.
The DOT keeping an eye out for possible slick spots on the road this morning. Crews have been spraying brine on roads all week. Yesterday, there were still several crashes throughout the day. A crash near Zebulon killed a woman. It's being blamed on icy conditions. Crews were back out last night prepping the roads. The DOT suggests you wait until the air temperatures gets above freezing before heading out. But if you must be out, take it slow. And download the WRAL weather app for up-to-the-minute information about conditions outside. Make sure your push notifications are turned on to get important alerts right to your phone.
In Halifax County, a man is in jail accused of killing his neighbor. Scholar Jefferson III has been charged with murder. This happened in Lillington Monday night. Police say they responded to a report of a shooting on Little Drive and found Montrell Everett dead in the street. Jefferson is being held without bond. He's expected to appear in court next month. A man is charged with a child sex crime at a Roseville school. 25-year-old Armani Fields is charged with sex offense with a child under the age of 15. The town of Roseville says this happened at Roseville Charter Academy back on November 6th. Fields was arrested a few weeks later on Thanksgiving. We're still trying to find out his relationship to that school.
Happening this morning, Governor Josh Stein plans to make an announcement on funding for Medicaid. 3 million North Carolinians are insured by Medicaid, but the lack of a new state budget has left it short millions of dollars. Stein responded by reducing what Medicaid pays hospitals and doctors for treating patients. But as WRAL state government reporter Will Doran reports, Stein has been losing in court over that strategy.
Judges keep saying that they don't have the authority to do this. So Stein has announced a press conference to make statements on Medicaid. We don't know yet what he's going to say, but we know that it does come in the wake of these court losses.
And we will be covering Stein's announcement just after 9 o'clock this morning. For updates, you can go to the NC Capitol section of WRAL.com.
Also happening today at the state capitol, Chapel Hill school leaders will face questions from state lawmakers over accusations that the district violated the state law called the Parents' Bill of Rights. The law bans books and other materials with LGBTQ themes from some elementary school curricula. It also requires teachers to out transgender students to their parents in certain cases. Chapel Hill Carborough school leaders say they are complying with the law, but Republican state lawmakers say they have evidence of violations. The hearing is scheduled to start at 9 a.m.
The Granville County School Board reaffirmed its decision to close Wilton Elementary School, and that made a lot of people angry at last night's meeting.
Please take your conversations outside.
The school board first voted to close the school during their December 2nd meeting, but because members are not allowed to vote virtually and they had one member doing that, they wanted to ratify their vote to stay in line with policy. In a news release, the board cited budget realities, enrollment trends, and long-term needs of students as reasons to close the elementary school. Some parents have started a petition calling for certain board members to resign.
Today, the Federal Reserve is expected to announce an interest rate cut. The central bank wraps up its two-day meeting. The move would put pressure on interest rates for mortgages, auto loans, credit cards, and other debt. This also comes as the Supreme Court considers a case that could affect the Federal Reserve. The case surrounds President Trump's firing of a former FTC commissioner. This case could rule on Trump's authority over other independent agencies like the Federal Reserve. Protecting kids online, the dangers that a social media task force is pointing out for children and what they want North Carolina leaders to do about it.
And a crash caught on video. A plane bounced off a car on a Florida interstate. What we know about the moments leading up to this crash.
And our next weather maker is a cold front that brings gusty winds through the day today, followed by cooler temperatures. I'll show you that hour by hour coming up.
And here are your winning Mega Millions numbers: 19, 32, 41, 49, 66. The gold Mega Ball is 6.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Welcome back. I'm meteorologist Amy Wilmoth in for Elizabeth this morning. If your car's outside, you might have to plan for 1 to 2 minutes to scrape off the frost on the windshield. I know I had to do that this morning, and bundle up. It is cold out there. 29 in Garner. It's 29 in Knightdale, 29 in Roseville, 31 in Raleigh. So very cold to start today. Bundle those kids up at the bus stop. Temperatures will be in the 30s through the morning hour. It'll be very cold to start, but it gets a little bit better this afternoon. We'll start to thaw out a little bit. 54 for the high in Durham, 54 in Raleigh, and perhaps 57 in Fayetteville today. It's going to be a windy day today. Later this afternoon, the winds will really pick up ahead of our next weather maker that's a cold front. We could have gusts 30 to 35 miles per hour. I'll show you the cold air behind the front coming up.
All right, Amy, I had to do a little scraping myself. Listen, 3 things you should know as you get ready to head out the door this morning. Dry road conditions unlike yesterday, and by all means drive defensively, particularly those of you in our northern counties that may see some slick road conditions and sun glare delay, especially those of you driving on those east routes. But from Raleigh to Rindell, Durham, Chapel Hill, all the major routes are delay-free right now. You're getting ready to head into the car, though. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
All right, thank you, Ken. The town of Fuquay-Varina considering a plan to take millions of gallons of water from the Cape Fear River every day, and it's not sitting well with people downstream. People got a chance to weigh in on the proposal last night. Fuquay-Varina is seeking what is called a interbasin transfer to take more than 6 million gallons a day, but it is being met with pushback. Fayetteville Mayor Mitch Colvin says his city could not afford the impacts of that much water being taken out every day without return. He says it could lead to higher treatment costs that could slow the city's own development.
There's a way that we could support this if they would return the water to the basin. And that was, I think, the biggest discrepancy. We certainly don't mind them using it, but the agreement that they proposed was not returning almost 6 million gallons a day, which would impact us down the road.
Right now, Fuquay-Varina purchases water from Raleigh, Harnett, and Johnston counties, but officials say the supply would not be able to meet future demands with continued growth. Another public hearing for the proposal is scheduled for tomorrow night, but it will still be some time before a decision is made.
A task force is calling on North Carolina lawmakers to pass a law to reduce the addictive nature of social media. Experts told the state child fatality task force that children can end up being shown harmful content on topics like self-harm and eating disorders in their social media feeds. Lawmakers passed a bill this year requiring schools to provide social media literacy lessons. Other bills on social media and chatbots have not succeeded.
And I'm Laura Levine here in the WRAL Live Center this morning. We have some big news coming from Amazon this morning. The company now announcing that it plans to invest more than $35 billion across all its businesses in India through 2030, really focusing on business expansion as well as 3 strategic pillars: AI-driven digitization, export growth, and job creation. So it will build on the $40 billion invested in India so far that has really digitized 12 million small businesses and enabled $20 billion in exports. Certainly something to follow in the years to come.
All right, thank you, Laura. Well, check this out. New video showing the dramatic moments when a plane crashed into a car on I-95 in Florida. Look at that. This happened earlier this week in Brevard County. The plane trying to make an emergency landing when it hit a Toyota Camry. The woman in the car was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. The pilot and the passenger on board the plane, they were not hurt. The NTSB says the plane lost both engines after departing from Merritt Island, Florida. The crash is under investigation, but oh my goodness, they are all okay. Thank goodness.
And that's the amazing part. And you just happen to be the car that's driving at that time while that plane has to make that emergency landing.
Wild video.
But a good outcome there. Yeah. Franklinton looking very festive there with its lights, and the temperatures match.
That's right. It is cold outside.
I
know some kids are going back to school for the first time this week. Bundle them up as they head out the door to catch the bus this morning. It's cold, but it is pretty there. And Franklinton looks like all the snow has melted. 31 is the current temperature in Raleigh. It's 29 in Rocky Mount, 29 in Southern Pines. It feels more like 23 in the Triangle. We do have a bit of a breeze causing a wind chill. The next weather maker, it's this cold front that arrives. Ahead of it, we'll have this strong southerly flow. We'll have winds gusting to 35 miles per hour this afternoon. So secure any outdoor decorations that you might have. Behind the front, we do have colder air that will arrive. Today is going to be a little bit milder. So after our cold start, temperatures will climb into the low to mid 50s this afternoon. So we'll thaw out a little bit today, but it's going to be windy with those gusts up to 35 miles per hour. So 54 today. That cold front brings us back down into the 40s for highs Thursday and Friday. We bounce back Saturday, 55, and then another front arrives, and we're down to 49 for the high on Sunday. Morning lows, what jumps out at you is Monday. So that weekend cold front brings some cold temperatures early next week, 22 for the low temperature. Overnight tonight will actually stay above freezing. We'll get down to about 34 degrees. We do have a couple of parades this weekend. The Durham Christmas Parade is Saturday morning. It looks great for that. Not too cold, but it'll feel festive with temperatures in the 40s under mostly sunny skies. And then the Cary Christmas Parade Saturday as well, but it'll be in the afternoon. Ken Smith, I'll be on it. I think Renee is going to be on the float with us. Mostly sunny. Temperatures will be in the low 50s for the Cary Christmas Parade. So some nice weather for the weekend. Today, not too bad, 54 for the high. It's going to be chilly as we head into the next couple of days. Temperatures are going to be in the upper 40s for Thursday and for Friday as well. And then our next front will arrive late this weekend, and that's going to bring us some colder temperatures by the time we get to Sunday.
All right, our little Frankie is looking forward to riding the float for the first time. All right, listen, let's start outside I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road, that southern loop of the Beltline, the westbound lane coming toward us this morning, flowing at a nice steady clip. You're coming in from Garner, Johnston County. No delays whatsoever between Highway 36 and the Beltline. Of course, delay free on that southern loop. And that's what we're seeing in all of our major routes. No delays whatsoever. Short of a 1-minute delay coming in from Nightdale or Wake Forest. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Thank you, Ken. Answering your questions. Health insurance is so important, but it can also be complicated. 5 on Your Side explains how you can speak to professionals today for free.
And checking your back seat. How a former North Carolina senator's wife helped capture a man who escaped from a detention center.
And if you see news, breaking news, have a story, tip, or take video or pictures of weather where you are, please report it to us. Go to WRAL.com/reported to send your video, pictures, or tip to our news team.
We're now hearing from a woman who found an inmate that escaped from an Eastern North Carolina detention center over the weekend. Marie Steinberg has a history of keeping her car doors unlocked. Her husband, former state senator Bob Steinberg, was always reminding her to lock up. Well, when they got the notification that an inmate escaped the nearby Chowan County Detention Center, she locked up the house but forgot about her car. And that's when she found 23-year-old Charles Babb.
When I saw the orange jumpsuit, I knew that that was the guy that, they were hunting for.
She said, the guy that escaped from jail that we heard about last night, he's in my car. And I said, he's in your car.
Oh, one thing for sure, I've got to make sure I lock my car.
If not, escaped inmates might find their way there. The Steinbergs called 911 and police did capture Babb a few houses down.
This What's Trending report is sponsored by Call Dad AC and Heating.
The viral 6'7" craze and the return of Phillip Rivers to the NFL.
Ken Smith is here now with What's Trending. We couldn't help ourselves.
You always have to, right? So the popular burger joint In-N-Out is removing the number 67 from its ticketing system because of the popular 6'7" trend. Yeah, that's why. The removal of 6'7" was confirmed by People magazine. 6'7" is a phrase popular among kids, but does not actually mean anything. My goodness, what is happening?
I mean, Wendy's has a 6-7 cent Frosty deal. Pizza Hut has added 6-7 cent wings. But now that we adults are talking about it, all the kids are like, yeah, my daughter, who's in sixth grade, is like, it's, Mom, no one does it anymore now. You know, we're so passe, you know, because we made it unhip.
My
now
goodness.
that we're talking about
I know. So Phillip Rivers, trending this morning, the former NC State quarterback, is making a comeback 5 years after retiring from the NFL. The 44-year-old potential Hall of Famer signed with the Indianapolis Colts practice squad. No word yet on when he will actually hit the field or even play in a game.
This is crazy because if he actually gets on the field, he would be the 6th quarterback in NFL history to play at 44 or older. He has 10 children at home. He also has grandchildren, so maybe he's like, you know what, honey, I gotta go. I
need to get back on the field.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see what happens.
Listen, we'll see. Thanks, Ken. Well, one way to give back this holiday season is through WRAL's annual Coats for the Children campaign. Now through December 31st, we need your help to gather as many coats, hats, and gloves as possible. To find a neighborhood Jiffy Lube drop-off location near you or make a monetary donation, you can scan the code on your screen. You can also go to WRAL.com/coats. Help WRAL and the Salvation Army spread warmth and hope this holiday season. Well, coming up, difficult decisions. Wake County school leaders plan to discuss its next budget today. We'll explain what is driving some of their decisions and how it could impact students and staff.
And standoff over. Today we'll get new information about a double shooting in Granville County that led to that standoff. The questions we're trying to get answered about the suspect and the victims.
And our next weather maker brings some gusty winds today. I'll show you when we could see some wind gusts up to 35 miles per hour coming up.